Hey, konbanwa minasan, it's Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse over in Japan. I'm here again with another review for you. Hot on the heels of my review of Rook Exodus Issue 1, I have another Ghost Machine launch title. This is Redcoat Issue 1, created by Geoff Johns and Bryan Hitch. We've got the story by both of them. I think the plot is by Geoff Johns and the art is by Bryan Hitch. What a surprise. And yeah, you can see by the cover straight away, it's the Bryan Hitch style there. This is the character, this is the Redcoat. His name is Simon Pure. Am I sure? I'm not sure. And what's this like? Is it worth buying? Well, give me some details first. Again, this is a $3.99 launch title. It's not quite as bumper sized as Rook was, but it still has 34 pages of story, which is pretty awesome for $3.99. And it's got Bryan Hitch art all the way through, which looks very, very good, really detailed. Actually, interestingly, more detailed than some of his recent Marvel Ultimate Universe work, if you've seen that. But anyway, the question is it worth picking up? Well, to be honest, this wasn't as good for me as Rook Exodus Issue 1, but I still had fun reading it. It's more of a kind of adventure, boy's own, romp kind of story with a bit of National Treasure vibes to it. It was set in the early days, of American independence. You got shout outs to some of the big names from back then, God knows, I can't remember the names right now, so I'll just say Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. How about that? But more seriously, yeah, I'm intrigued by, there's a kind of mysticism side to the story, a supernatural theme, which I've enjoyed. That's pulled me in more than the regular adventures of this guy who's basically a redcoat, who's on the run, he's being chased, he's in trouble, he keeps getting killed, but somehow comes back to life again. More on that in the story. And with my story summary, again, I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm going to show you just a few of the pages from inside, a little bit of a story summary, and I'm going to leave a lot unseen so you can enjoy it yourselves. But yeah, it's not as strong recommend as Rook, but as I said, I still had fun. You're after a bit of adventure, a bit of like historical adventure, a bit of humour, because it is funny at times, this. Yeah, maybe give it a try. So, as I just said, let's go on with a look inside the book, a look inside the issue. So please keep watching, and here we go. I gotta say, I like this photo of the title page with the wax seal there and the bottle of ink. So here's the brief synopsis from Image Comics website. British Redcoat and all-round rogue Simon Pure mysteriously became immortal in 1776 after a run-in with a clandestine cabal known as the Founding Fathers, which included George Washington, John Hancock, and many other prominent American Revolutionary War leaders. Wow, that was a mouthful. Then I'll skip a bit to, what are the true origins and extent of Simon's power and the mysterious organisation behind them, and how has it secretly shaped America and the world? Simon's on a quest to find out. We open in 1775, and there's a man on a horse screaming, "The Redcoats are coming!" We get a bit of British English here. "Oi, I hit the prat square in the nose, so what do we do with him?" "We torture the traitor and see who he's been talking to." "Who's he been talking to? You heard him. He's been shouting to the whole world. The Redcoats are coming." Daft thing to say. Okay, that's enough of Gray's British accent. I am actually from Britain. It's not put on, but it sounds weird when I try and do different voices. But anyway, what do you think of the art? This is Bryan Hitch on art. Great detail. I like the period setting, the costumes, the rifles or muskets, whatever you'd call them. Really good. And this cowardly gang of redcoats are setting upon this poor unhorsed man, screaming about King George. And then, what's going on in the bottom panel here? We see a strange kind of light yellowy green glow and a bug. A mysterious, a bug, an insect with a glowing tail approaches. Oi! Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting weird, kind of Cyberfrog vibes from this. What are all these bugs doing? Where do they come from? They seem to be attacking the redcoats, going into their mouths. Okay, I'll skip a few pages to this scene. We see him being picked up by Mr. Hancock. "Back on your steed now, Paul. You still have a message to deliver tonight. The fight for independence continues." Okay, then we jump forward to Christmas Day, 1776. We get quite a lot of exposition here. I'm just going to read from a little bit of it. We've got Simon Pure narrating. "Now, most of us redcoats were hired, shipped off and clad in these bright crimson jackets to take orders from generals who earned their rank not for any past valour on the battlefield, but for a payment they made to buy glory. They promised us the same. But once we arrived, we heard whispers of Washington and his men, stories that the colonists had not only claimed the natives' land for themselves, but their mysticism as well. So at this point I want to point out this is one of the themes of the story that really intrigues me, is this theme of mysticism, rumours of witchcraft, magic, supernatural occurrences. So we've seen Simon on the run, he's hiding out here, he makes his way to a church, he's sleeping somewhere inside when he hears voices. "Get the hood, we're already late. Did you bring the ram skull?" The voices and the flickering of the torches pulled Simon towards what was down below. Now I'm not going to spoil it here, I'm going to skip ahead again. Flash forward 116 years, it's November 3rd, 1892. Simon's sleep is interrupted by a very angry landlord kicking down his door. Wait a minute, it's not the landlord. I don't recognise them, but I know why they're here. Then we get this little flash here of, "You killed my brother, you killed my father, you killed my favourite cousin." And I'm getting flashbacks to the Naked Gun series of movies, Police Squad, remember that? Kind of joke on the Charles Bronson Death Wish movies. Having a target on your back can be inconvenient for certain, but it's a living. How has Simon survived this long? He tells us here he's been shot, burned, stabbed, drowned, trampled, even blown up, which was my own fault. But of course there are many drawbacks to this condition. He says here that no matter how much he eats, he's always famished, always hungry. And he guesses there's a price for immortality because he's always broke. Not the best of combinations, always hungry and always broke. Okay, I've skipped quite a few pages and there are still 11 pages of story to go, but I'll stop the story summary here. And there you have it. Well, I've adjusted my cardigan. I think I've got it looking a bit better than the opening review, the opening intro. But yes, as a score for this, say not as high as Rook, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Still a very respectable score. It's a high score for me. It means it's decent. It's worth checking out. And let's get on with the variant covers. So first one we have here is another one by Ivan Rice. He's done the variant cover for Rook as well. I'm not sure about this one. For some reason the main character looks kind of different. He's got a big chin for a start there. But yeah. And is that one of the Shazam brothers in the background? No, I'm just joking. Okay, let's have a look at the next variant cover. The second variant I've got to show here is a Bryan Hitch. I think it's a rare one. It's 1 in 100 or could be 1 in 200. Black and white version of the a great scene from inside. And I think it's a black and white version of the main cover. But what do you think of this? So good seeing the art, stark as it should be seen without the colours. But yeah, so that's about it. 2 variant covers. There's another one as well. I think there's like a store exclusive one, and they've got the blank cover as well. So if you can get it drawn, get a great picture done by somebody at one of the Comic Cons, that's the idea. But there we go. Do hope you enjoyed my review. Sorry it's a bit like all over the place. I just finished a delicious dinner of, fettuccine, and I made the pasta sauce myself. Mrs. Wakizashi was really impressed. I just managed to, blunder it into a good taste. There we go. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Do drop a comment. Let me know if you're buying the series or any of the Ghost Machine titles. I'd love to hear from you. And as I say, I hope to see you in the next review. This has been Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse. Feeling all cozy and warm now. This is a warm cardi saying, Matane.
You want to see something really scary? You bet.